Hi, good morning, everyone. We'll call the meeting of the DuPage County Development Committee of February 4th to order, and then we have a roll call, please.
Member Krajewski,
Here.
member Rutledge,
Here.
member Covert, here, member Ozog,
Here.
Vice Chair you, here, Chair Tornatori.
Here. And we have a quorum. Your chairman's remarks, I'm going to, with leave of the body, move to amend the agenda and remove item 7C from today's agenda. For further discussion at a later date. Any public comment this morning? Here we do. We have two people here and I know which item.
Yashio.
Yeah, they're item 7D. Brian Armstrong, you are first up, sir. I think you know the drill.
Good morning. Thank you, everybody. Brian Armstrong, attorney for the applicants. This property, we're requesting rezoning only, no special use, no variation, just rezoning from B1 to B2. The evidence at the zoning board was that the B2 zoning is consistent, harmonious with the zoning of the surrounding properties. Adjacent to the east is B1 with an office building that contains an adult use. Adjacent to the west is a vacant property that has wetlands that probably will never be developed. Adjacent to that is B2, also an adult use. Then across the street, still continuing west, there's a mix of B2, industrial, manufacturing, and then a lot of B2 farther west. Across the street is Roselle, Village of Roselle. Those are all business uses. The uses that are there are consistent with B2. They would be allowed if they were B2 in the county. To the south is R4. The use that the applicant is using the property for is a contractor's office and outside storage. It's a concrete contractor. That is a permitted use in B2. The property before they acquired it was used for a landscape contractor, office and outside storage for several decades. So the property is suitable for rezoning to B2, given the surrounding uses and the surrounding zoning, as well as their use. So we respectfully request that you recommend approval. And of course, I'm here to answer any questions. And also our land planner, Julie, is here if anybody has any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Joe, did you want to say something or are you just here to answer questions?
No, I'm just here to ask any questions. As not many of you know, I was director of planning for the county for 17 years. And I'm very familiar with this particular area. I had with the adult use been there as long as I've been when I was with the county. So the area has developed pretty much in accordance with what's being proposed. The zoning is now totally in accordance even with the municipal. One of the exhibits that we had in the file shows that the uses that are in the community zoning, even though the number is different, are identical to what the uses are in the county. So zoning district numbers are different, but the uses are the same. So you have a sort of a unified plan that's being developed here, taking a use that is very old and is now going to be brought up to present day standards. I think that's the important thing. Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes the portion of our meeting. We'll move on to approval of the minutes. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes
So
of
moved.
January 21st.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any additions, corrections, or deletions? Hearing none, saying none. All those in favor?
Hi.
Any opposed? The minutes are approved. We got item 6A. I'll entertain a motion to approve TEP 3-25, a recommendation to approve a contract purchase to Acela Inc. for managed application services to provide support permitting software for building and zoning, transportation, stormwater, and public works departments from February 21, 2025 through February 20, 2026 for contract total not to exceed $203,674.38. There's a motion and a second. Any questions, comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. I'll entertain a motion to approve DCO 7-25 zoning 2480. Alice's zoning hearing officer's recommendation to approve a variation, increase the height of a new shed from 15 feet to approximately 18 feet.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. I'll entertain a motion to approve DCO 8-25 Zoning 2482, Wallace, the zoning hearing officer's recommendation for consideration to reduce the corner side setback 30 feet to approximately 10 feet for a new greenhouse. Any questions, comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, the motion carries. We pulled item 7C, moving on to item 7D. I'll entertain a motion to approve DCO 10-25 zoning 2474. Diageo Incorporation Zoning Board of Appeals recommendation to approve zoning relief for rezoning from B1 local business to B2 general business district in Bloomingdale District 1.
So moved. Second.
Any questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, the motion carries. I'll entertain a motion to approve DCR 1-25, a resolution authorizing acceptance of donation of real property located at 22 West 146 Hillcrest Terrace, Medina, Illinois.
Second.
This motion is second. This is a clean and lean property, right, Paul?
Sure.
Okay, great. Motion is second. Yes, Sheila.
Thank you, Chair. House already torn down?
No, once we get the property, which will hopefully occur in the next couple of weeks after we pass these resolutions, we'll probably start demolition sometime in the February, first part of March.
Any plans beyond that?
This property ultimately will be inventoried, and hopefully at some point we'll get a land bank, be put in our land bank and be used in our housing solutions program.
Yay, that's what I wanted to hear. And how big is the parcel?
About half an
About
acre.
half an acre.
About half an acre, yeah. Likely just be a single family, possible duplex, depending on where we're at with our program, but it will be part of our housing solutions
Nice.
program.
Great to hear.
Any other comments or questions? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And the motion carries. Any old business? All and some people, go ahead, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Sam.
Go.
So it came up at our environmental meeting this morning. The question was about dark skies ordinance. If you could maybe.
So,
update that.
historically, we passed a resolution for dark sky, and we have not done anything with our zoning code because there's concerns, from the development committee members about if we were to put it in the zoning code, it would be a requirement for everybody, including existing development.
It's-
Including existing development.
Okay.
It would have to be, because it's in the zoning code, any existing development would have to comply as well. And the appetite was that any new development could apply. So historically, the way we've dealt with that is whenever we've had any zoning cases, we have required that as a condition of the zoning case. For instance, you recall the soccer facility down on Frontage Road and unincorporated Willowbrook. One of those conditions is that they comply with the dark sky initiative. We've got a use coming up, right now. It's, a zoning case that will be before you probably here in March. They have agreed to comply with the dark sky initiative. We can, if you would like, start a zoning text amendment to actually include it in the zoning code. But once again, it would have to be effective for all current and existing, and future uses. We think that by going through the zoning process and making it a condition on all new zoning cases, that really, effectuates the concern that you're looking for. And like I say, all new zoning cases that come through the zoning board of appeals are having that condition put on them that they comply with the dark sky initiative.
Okay, all right, good to hear. Thank you.
And it gives us more control because we're dealing with it on a case by case basis.
Correct.
Rather than the ordinance.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I like that.
First,
Here first.
I was.
You're
My
on the
question,
committee, so I'll go first.
my question is, for Paul, would this involve, for instance, parking lot lighting, that kind of thing?
Parking
building
lot lighting, building lighting, absolutely, yes. Signage, yes.
Signage, okay, all right, thank you.
Member to serve.
Asked and answered.
Anybody else? Okay, great. Any other old business, new business? Paul and some members of the staff are having coffee with the chair this morning. And are going to be sharing with them what you been handed out, our neighborhood revitalization program, otherwise known as Clean and Lean, which we started back in 2016. And we're up to 150 properties.
All told at the program, yes.
That's great.
Since inception.
And it's been very successful and something we're all very proud of. And did you want to share Anything but that?
Well, just briefly, in terms of the county board, work on this, is that we started out with a $50,000 grant from the county board. Not a grant, but a stipend of money to help us, give a little bit more teeth to the program to be able to actually, hire contractors and the things that you have to do, to tear a building down or clean up a piece of property. That has morphed into about $300,000. And also, we have a grant from the Illinois Housing Development Authority that allows us to be reimbursed for some of our clean and lean funds. So the program has gone from $50,000 to over $600,000, including grant money to help us with the hard cost of cleaning properties up. From asbestos abatement to sealing and capping wells, to closing off septic systems, to hiring contractors with cranes and waste boxes. So the program is working very, very well. And the other thing that's nice about it is not only do we get reimbursed with IHD money, and that money is not federally funded, it comes from Illinois bonding. So it's all local money in the state of Illinois, so it'll always be there. But we also are able to collect through the help of Connor and the state's attorney's office, we're able to collect our liens and some fees back that go back into the program. Not only are we getting land, as we've heard about here today, and donations of land where they're clean and lean properties, but the fees that we are also getting from putting fees and fines on those properties is going back into the program as well. So the program's working very nicely right now. And not only do we have money to handle the program, but we've got the wherewithal using the county public works office to do all the cleaning up for us. So our costs are very low as well. There's really no, the margins are very small because it's just time and material, and public works is charging us to clean these properties up. And they're pretty nimble as well, because they can come in at a moment's notice and clean properties up for us. So the program's working very, very well for the county.
Yes, Vice Chair.
Thank you, Chair. My question has to do with, okay, it says here 150 plus properties in this program. Are any of them in a substantially contiguous area so that, potentially there could be development later? I just wanted to know where these properties were.
We can share them with you. They're all over the county. There are only a handful of properties that are contiguous to each other, only because one person owns them all. But most of the properties are individual, single-family homes that are scattered throughout the county. They're sort of one-offs throughout the entire county.
Thank you.
Just
Do we have an estimated value of the 150 lots we have?
We can get that for you, yeah,
Assume we have to
absolutely.
put that on financial. And then second, can we do more, to the extent we just, because, I mean, we don't lose any money on it. I mean, we make money out, we have the value of the properties. To the extent we give you more money, can you do more lean program?
Sure.
I mean, I think that's something we can do because, I mean, we get all our money back. We have 100 and some million in reserve. We could loan it out. We got 150 properties plus the cash that you're collecting. I think we can do a lot more we have the money sitting here. We can loan it out. We have the properties. We can always sell it to replace the loan. But it just.
we don't own 150.
We don't own 150 properties. There are 150 properties in the program. And using clean and lean, using adjudication.
Well,
reports,
however many
yeah,
we have
understand.
some, whatever, but we're not losing any money. I mean, because we have the property at the end of the day. We either get our money back.
Or we get
Or we get the
potentially get the
property.
property, yeah.
So I mean, we don't lose, there's no way we're gonna lose anything. We're gonna have a property that we could turn around and sell, or we have a lien on the property that they're gonna have to give it to us. So
Yep.
to the extent that we can put more money in that program, we have 140 million or 100 some million sitting in reserves. We give them more money and they can take it as a loan, they can give it back to us, however we want to do it, but we can do a lot more with the program now that it's up and running. We know how to do it. There's no loss of revenue.
Well, we also have more money to try down from TIDA, right?
Yeah, we've got that's $299,000 grant that, once again, we have about $300,000 in our clean and lean program. We spend that and then we turn that in and get reimbursed. So our coffers are always right around.
We're not short
We're
anything
not short.
in the program. It just.
But we can do more, is what I'm saying. We just give a line of credit, $1 million, and just say, go out there and start No, seriously.
Paul's smiling.
I will tell you, I will tell you, and
We know how to do
we've
it.
got 3 attorneys here, and those attorneys are looking at me like, oh my gosh. Because a lot of our work, in order to get to the point where we're at,
It's a lot of.
we have to go through
negotiation.
circuit court. Adjudication doesn't cut it. We've got to get a court order to order a set,
But
but
we're gonna
Need to hire some people to do all this stuff,
We get
so.
those fees back, even
Yeah,
if we have to bring. I think we got some other-
Very nice.
All right, member Rutledge has got a question.
I don't need to sleep.
Or a comment.
yeah. But yeah, the answer is yes.
But you can bring an attorney in to do it.
Right, the answer is yes.
Can I make one point to that? Real quick? I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Member Krajewski, when we did the adjudication amendments and such as well, that gave us a little bit more teeth where we can continue to build on this program. So I would say right now, and Paul, correct me if I'm wrong. I think the tools are there and we're starting to ramp that up. We just got our second code enforcement officer back up and going. So I think you're gonna start seeing
I
some.
suggested this like 2 years ago, but I think now that you got everything up and running, you got everything in place.
Yep.
That we can throw some money out there so you can expand the program. I mean, grow it in size. I mean, you
100%,
add a few more.
And I think that is.
Cleans up the neighborhoods and we don't have to hear neighbors complaining all the time and calling us, but I think we are at a point now where we can take that to the next level.
I would say, I think that's all of our goals here at the building. So we are looking at that. We continue to talk about that and we appreciated the adjudication changes because it does allow some more of this. So I think you're spot on. I think that we'd all like to go in that direction. And I think
I
we're
wanna make
building
sure
new
we got
tools.
the money, we can give it to you. We have it. We can easily give it to you.
And we'll review that.
I think to be clear is that as I've talked to Connor, at the beginning of the year, talked about how, we're going to start ramping that up. And it's nice to know that if we need more money, we will come back to you and ask for that for sure. And it's nice to hear that you guys are willing potentially
It's
to
easy.
open it up for us.
But
No,
I think
no,
we should
Yeah.
probably,
Okay.
I think we should discuss the item money first though, right? I mean, I think we're obligated to
100%.
do it.
Yeah.
That,
I don't know.
I had a question.
Yes, go
So
ahead.
Paul, on these clean and lean properties, coming from a flipping background, it seems like for the most part, we're tearing these houses down. Is there any evaluation on whether they're a prime rehab project?
Yeah, and
Let
ours
me
are not.
answer that one before Paul says anything that
Yeah.
gets us in trouble. So the particular section of the county's code that we utilize for the Clean and Lean program requires that prior to a court order being issued, that the court make a finding, one, that the property is dangerous, hazardous, unsafe, open, et cetera, and two, that the damage to the property cannot be reasonably repaired. It's not financially feasible to do so. So, to be clear, these properties get torn down because the court has made a finding that says there's no feasible way for us to rebuild. Exactly. Now, whether there's scrap copper and stuff, that's something to be, discussed. A good example is the place down Hobson and Donwood, where it was just never really completed. And there was all these valuable things inside of it. I think there was almost $500,000 in custom cabinetry that was never installed and was just piled inside. That's valuable, but it's still, there's value, but it's not in the structure. It's in the structure, but it's not in keeping the structure as it is.
And on that point, thank you, Connor. I would also like to make sure that the haulers you're using are repurposing the gypsum board and the copper and the brick and all of that. The concrete can be
Yes.
recycled and made new again. So, thank you.
Member Rosa.
My question, thank you, Mr. Chairman, it's Illinois Housing and
Development Authority.
Development. Okay, is that an annual grant or is that as you apply? How does that
So
work?
they have applications, 3-year cycles. So we're on a 3-year cycle right now.
Okay.
We got the grant, I think a year and a half ago, and we've got 3 years to participate in it. So
So
every
you
3
just
years.
apply for the maximum amount that you can.
And we apply for as much as we can get, and historically, the county has been the beneficiary of one of the higher grants. We
Okay.
started out, I think we got 150 the first time.
Right.
This last time, we got $299,000.
And do you have to put potential, you've got to have a good share of potential properties listed?
We have to show that, what our program is, and it's a viable program, that we've got properties out there, and
Yeah.
it's a pretty rigorous process to go through, but we've been, like I say, we've been successful, and we doubled our grant amount from them in this last cycle.
Great, thank you. Thanks.
Just as a little bit of history, back in 2016, when I was on the IDA board, I still am. By accident, there was a breakout session about foreclosures and properties that were in a state of disrepair, and they instituted this neighborhood revitalization program to give people money to put their houses back in good shape for a variety of reasons. And I just simply asked, is there anything that we could do as a county to get this? And someone said, well, submit the application. Came back, talked to Paul, talked to Jim, talked to our staff, made the application, we got some money, and we moved from virtually no money in the program to $200 and some thousand and kicked it off. And then as every 3 years, we've continued to make more applications for the money and been granted it. So Ida's happy with it. It's great for them. It's great for us. The neighbors love it. We've got a video of people hugging us when we went out there one day.
Yeah.
They loved it so much. So, yes, Mary.
Who is responsible for the cool name Clean and Lean? And do we have it copyrighted?
Well, clean and lean comes from the state statute, and we have softened it a bit. And I think our department could take credit for the neighborhood revitalization plant program. But clean and lean comes directly from the state statute.
Oh.
It is
okay.
exactly what the statute allows us to do, clean and then
All right.
lean.
Great, thank you.
And then we use that when we get serious, because people understand leaning of their
Yes,
properties. And, you know, as part of the 50 properties, the majority of them, after that we go through adjudication, after we go through the stuff that Connor works on, they're more than willing to clean their properties up. So we are getting a lot of, self-compliance through this program as well, which is good.
thank you.
Anybody else? So you're gonna talk to the chair about this and
This will be our primary focus
Great,
today.
wonderful.
Coffee with the chair.
sure she's aware of it. Any other old business, new business, any business? Okay, all right. That being said, without objection, we're adjourned. Thank you all.